yeah, this afternoon. So I can see Kiran Qureshi here, Nashmia, Rahil Hamid is here, and Shahid, brother Shahid is here. So Jazakallah khair, thank you for joining the session. So great. Sorry, can I check, Marine, would you be able to share something like the questions, or how do we or
If you're on the laptop, you can share your screen. You are the
okay.
co-host.
Okay, sure, yeah, okay, I can do that for mine. That's absolutely fine.
If you want me to do it, I will need
No,
3
no,
minutes.
that's okay. That's
Okay.
okay. I thought, yeah, sorry, I wasn't really sure, so I thought better check. So bear me a second. So share screen, right, and that's gonna be files.
While Iftikhar is trying to share his screen, I hope everybody is doing fine. Fatima, are you okay? How's your mother doing?
Are you talking to me or the other Fatma?
That's a good one. When you hear like people with the same names.
Oh yeah, it was the other Fatima. Sorry. How are you, Fatima?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, Rahil. Can you unmute yourself?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. How are you and how's everybody else?
Alhamdulillah. If you guys want to unmute, this is a discussion session. It will be good if everybody is interacting.
Yeah, sure.
All right, sorry, I can't share my my document, so I think
Okay.
it's better if you share those questions and then we
Perfect.
can.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Brilliant. Okay, let's do it that way. So okay, so while Sister Marine is looking to share documents, I think we can there's nothing really stopping us from starting our conversation. So like you already know that we are here to discuss the first chapter from the book
Towards understanding Islam.
toward understanding Islam. Yeah, the first chapter is the meaning of Islam. So yeah, so did you guys have a chance to go through the first chapter?
Yeah, Alhamdulillah.
Okay, that's really good. Okay, that's really good. So if you got like some understanding, then obviously, yeah, that's going to be a good starting point for us. I think we can with the introduction session. So I think so my name, I start with myself. So I'm Iftikhar, and I have been I've been kind of like listening to Brother Saladin's ideology and lectures and stuff, and that's how I got attracted towards like a movement which can really bring a change. Professionally, I work as a management consultant working in the transformation and change, and I always like think about like how we can bring whatever we do at work in the professional capacity, how can we like implement this and bring into like our daily lives? So this is always a really good opportunity for me to see like an opportunity for us to actually work on something really practical and something that's really can make a difference to our lives and our clusters and people around us. So that's a bit about myself. I'm not quite into like making a positive change, wherever we can. So that's pretty much like my sort of understanding. And obviously we're all learners, and I'm learning and how we can bring this into sort of focus. That's sort of background I have, and my inspiration where we are. So I can see like the different people. So I have like Brother Rahil. I think we can start with yourself, and then we can carry on with Nashmia, Sister Nashmia, and Fatima Anjum, Kiran, Qureshi, Muhammad Zain, Rabia, Rubina, and Shahid. And if like more people join, then obviously we'll carry on with our introductions. So first, I would like you to introduce yourself and also like what have you gathered from the first chapter? If there's any like couple of points, if you would like to raise them, yeah, that's a good point. So if you take a couple of minutes and doing introductions, and then by then we'll be like sort of ready to start moving on to the sort of questions based on the first chapter. If that's okay, then I probably would ask Brother Rahil to start giving us introduction, if that's okay.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair. My name is Rahil. I'm a mechanical engineer by profession, and I'm from Newcastle upon Tyne in Northeast England. That's my short introduction. Jazakallah khair.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. And if you would like to touch on the like what have you gathered from the chapter 1 of this book, if there is anything that you want to sort of point out at this point, that was a good starting point.
Sorry, I couldn't make any points because I was not able to read it properly. So
Okay, no, that's absolutely that's absolutely fine. No, that's absolutely fine. It's a discussion session, so that's absolutely fine. So we'll come back to you. So we'll move on to Nashmia.
Assalamu
Hello.
alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you?
Yeah, sorry, I just got a bit of cold and stuff, so I just don't cough too much. But yeah, I'm a mother of 3 and a
No,
housewife.
it's okay.
I'm
You're
carer.
allowed to, you're allowed to cough. That's
Oh, thank
absolutely
you.
fine.
Or I just want you to, don't want to irritate you or
You
anything. So
don't want to
hopefully,
tell people.
yeah, but don't worry, I got my water with me as well. So
All right, that's
all right. So
that's
yeah,
really
it's
good.
same reason, like I just started watching Sahil Adim as well, and even before that, I was quite into it, like quite passionate about to know my deen very well, and especially implement myself and then my children and all that. So Alhamdulillah, when Allah give you guidance, you just go into that path, and it's just with the help of Allah. That's it. So when I just found Sahil Adim and all that, so I thought, yeah, this is what I was looking for. So yeah, that's why I'm here. Just want to know about in better way, and obviously because we are a learner all of our lives, so I'm just a student who was learning each day, and alhamdulillah, I'm really glad that I found this IMS UK, and alhamdulillah, such a blessing. So that's it. Yeah, so this the meaning of Islam. Yeah, I just read this first chapter, and yeah, I don't know what you want me to talk about. It is like what is
If you just give us a couple of lines, like what you,
okay, yeah, because I think when we read that, so then you just really realize, or really need to like know the meaning of Islam as well, because we always just listen that, oh, Islam means peace, and just Islam means peace, but peace is like within yourself, like in your soul, spiritual, and your your own within your body. That is the peace. But Islam, it's like obviously Arabic word, and right, we just read it here as well. Like it indicates submission, totally surrender to the mighty, the almighty, which we know that's supreme and high being. So yeah, so then it's like you just think that like the other religions, it's all came from Judaism, from Jews. Yeah, so they call it, oh yeah, because it's that, but just the Islam is the only religion which is not it's like just anyone who possesses this attribute, whatever race, community, country, or group, is like it belongs to, is a Muslim. So you don't have to be specifically like, oh, because I just like the Christians there, so that's why because it's the Christ, so they follow his religion and stuff. So Islam is from day one it was here, and it's going to be the rest of like to eternity. So
yeah, absolutely universal and eternal. Okay, no, that's a very good point. Thank you very much. So I'll just pause you there so you can gather your thoughts for the next round. So yeah,
I think I have some more to know.
Absolutely great. Yeah, no, thank you for joining. So yeah, it's great to have you here. Brilliant. So
If Sikhar, Rahil is about to share his screen, while I have shared these questions in the chat, if you want to have a look.
okay, sure, yes, I'm happy to have a look. It's just that
Everybody can have the look on the questions that we are discussing. These questions are taken from chapter 1.
questions are okay, so questions are already shared. Okay, somehow I can't see on my screen. Where is it?
Okay, Rahil is sharing the
Okay.
screen in 2 minutes.
Okay, sure. No, that's absolutely fine. And I think I think we just carry on with our free flow discussion.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
we'll come. Yeah, I think that's much better. Absolutely. So who's next? Let me just, yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Because your screen, I need to hide my screen to be able to go back to participants. So 1 second. Okay, so who is next? So is there Fatima Anjum? Fatima, are you there?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Good to have you here. So yeah, if you introduce yourself and also give us like a couple of lines of like what you gathered from the first chapter, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
okay. So I am a chemical engineer and a postdoctoral researcher at University of Bath. Recently moved to UK after finishing my PhD from Germany. I apologize, I haven't read the book. It was my first session. I couldn't attend the last one, so I don't know that we have to do something. But I do like to make one point based on my previous understanding for these questions.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we are. Yeah, so we are not. Yeah, the questions are there, but we're not really going deep into this. We just like having a brief, like what like by going through the first chapter, what is like a couple of lines. Yeah, what have you gathered? We just going through that at the moment. So we'll go through the proper questions later. So for now, it's just like carry on with the your first intuition, like what you gathered.
Yeah, okay. So if do you want me to share my thoughts from my own understanding, or you want to just carry on first with everybody else?
No, like I said, like for if you give us a couple of lines, like what you gathered.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, it's not from the book, but from my understanding, I think Quran Allah in the first surah of Quran, which is Surah Fatiha, has introduced himself as Rabb. So he used the word Rabb, which encompasses a lot of things into it, but the most important thing that it encompasses is submission.
Sure.
And so Rabb is someone you submit to completely in all aspects. So that's how Allah introduced himself in the very first surah. So I think that is where our if we get into deeper into that, I think that is where we can start having an idea about how is this master slave relationship is and what is expected of it. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
think
Sure. Okay, now that's really good. That's really interesting point. So I think thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's a really interesting one because when I was going through, I mean, I also like I learned so much just by going through this chapter because I really got to know how submission is different to the surrender and also the obedience. So those are the really like the core of our belief system. So yeah, that's absolutely great. I think we have a lot of audience, so we just kind of like skip through for the introductions for now, but hold your thoughts and we'll come back to you if that's okay.
yeah, sure, thank you.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Fatima. So let me go through my list. We have Khazima, Sister Khazima, how are you? Brilliant. So yeah, if you would like to give us a brief introduction and yeah, just like a couple of lines about the first chapter from this book, that'd be great.
Yes, I'm Fatima from London. So just reading the books to know about what is Islam and how we have to spend our lives. As per our Prophet has told us, as he has guided us. So regarding the book, some of the things, some of the highlights that I have that has inspired me is that Islam is an attributive title. So Islam is just that what kind of attributes we have. Anyone who has those attributes, he is a Muslim. And we are living in a universe where every single thing in the universe is a Muslim. The trees, the mountains, everything is submitting itself in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if all the things in my surrounding are submitting themselves in front of their Lord, so why not I, as a human being? I have to surrender my own free will. It is a matter of free will. Allah has given me the free will, and I have to surrender this free will in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whoever misuses free will, that is a nature of a kind of disbelief. The disbelief is the thing that we misuse of free will. In its nature, the blessings of the Islam is that we have to practice this free will according to the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the universe that is around us is a Muslim. So I have to be in the Muslim. So there is a synchronization in my actions with the universe, and then I will be able to know that this is my Lord, and this is what kind of relation I have with my Lord.
Sure. Thank you for bringing the submission again, and and the divine law and how things are. When you surrender, then obviously you join that bigger force around us. So Jazakallah khair. Thank you for that. Okay, we'll move on to Maham. Maham, I can see you on the next on the list. So if you would like to introduce yourself and give us a couple of lines, what you understand from the first chapter, would that be great? If you can unmute yourself. Maham, are you with us? Okay, we'll probably come back to Maham later. So we go to Muhammad Zain. Brother Zain, if you would like to introduce yourself. And
Brother Zain, he wrote in the chat that he won't be able to speak because I think there's quite a lot of noise behind him.
Okay, it's like thank you for pointedly reminding me. That's absolutely great. So the next one on my list, I can see Rabia. If you'd like to introduce yourself and give us a sort of a snapshot of like the first chapter in a couple of lines if possible.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Is there Rabia or Rabia?
Rabia.
Okay, Rabia. Good
I'm just going to give a brief.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So
because there's a lot of commotion behind me. So
that's okay.
my kids
First,
are like
if you
running
please
around right now.
introduce yourself. Yeah, because a lot of people have noticed that they skipped the introduction part. So I think the introduction is very important.
I think we have given the introduction before in the previous ones. So I'm just a student of knowledge, that's all. Just trying to learn what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has for.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, that's absolutely fine. So if you would like to add anything around the
I just want to add something that previously one of our sisters just said, that Islam means peace within. It's not actually, peace is like within everything. It's not just within, it's like outside as well, becoming one with the nature as well, with the creation, except for the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's a different story, but it's just that it's much more than that.
Okay, so so the main bit for you is like the peace and how the peace works miraculously.
Like total submitting yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his commands.
Absolutely. So
the kufr is going to be like the opposite of that. It's just rebellious, anger, and the other forms of it which are counted in kufr as well, not totally negating what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, or doing shirk with him, which is in Quran is like zulm azim, but that is not the zone that we do with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's the zone that we do want to bring it upon ourselves.
True. That is so true. Yeah, I totally get this. So thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll come back to you. Absolutely great. Yeah, thank you for that. We'll move on to Sister Rubina. Hello, Rubina. How are we doing?
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing fine.
Okay, welcome, salam. Yeah, would you like to introduce yourself? Because there's a lot of new people here, so that'd be good. That'd be great.
Alhamdulillah, I'm very, very thankful to Allah for His blessings. We're fourth generation in this country, so grandmother of 5 children, and it's just so every opportunity I get, anybody who's come to visit me, I always introduce them to one thing or another, simply put things to them just to get a conversation going. So having read first chapter of Understanding towards Islam on
yeah, great. Sister Rubina, I wanted to bring like this perspective that when we are like when the chapter opens up, it talks about submission, surrender, and obedience. And I want you to sort of elaborate on those. I mean, how do you personally take submission compared to surrender and the obedience?
So in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation, everything that He's created that submits to His laws, they don't have free will. And yet He created everything for our benefit. And as human beings, we've got free will. So while we enjoy Allah's blessings and everything that's created around us, we've been given free will. So until we understand what our own destiny is and what our own purpose is, we're not going to understand the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His creation and what His how everything is working in perfection. Those things don't have free will. But ourselves, our own as people, we've got free will, and this is how we've got to live our life, is understand that
Brilliant. No, that's a really good point. Yeah, free will, that's what makes us different from all the other creations. So that's a really good point. And that is directly connected with the mission.
Exactly.
And
so how are we guilty of hiding the truth? First of all, being Muslims, we could be committing kufr because
yes, absolutely.
And,
yeah, you talk about
the
conceders.
easy
Yeah,
way
we can
out.
still.
We don't want to understand anything about that, so we maybe doing that wrong without knowing. So it's very important.
Beautiful. I love your analogy and bringing these aspects. So that's great. So I will probably just pause you there and come back to you, if that's okay, if you don't mind. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. You always bring some really valuable points to the conversation, so that's really good. I'll move on to Omar Rashid. Brother, I'm not familiar with this name, but Jazakallah khair for attending and joining our discussion. So as you're aware, we are talking about the first chapter from the book. And if you have the opportunity to go through the first chapter, it's about the meaning of Islam. And we talk about different aspects of it. So if you would like to first introduce yourself, and if you can give us a couple of lines around this area, that would be great.
Jazakallah khair. My name is Umar Rashid. I just spell it differently.
You want to be one of those that here want to look a bit different. Okay, great.
That's how it was written on my birth certificate and my passport. So this is my officially how I okay. Email address, put it this way.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Yeah. Omar, yeah?
Well, Omar, yeah.
Yeah, Omar, yeah. Good.
So I'm basically online marketing consultant for the last 10 years. And before that, for about 20 years, I was a legal advisor specializing in welfare benefits for the disabled people. So now, regarding your question about understanding, basically, this is my first session, so I missed, but let me looking at these points, and my understanding is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent prophets on this earth so that they can guide human beings so that they do not actually follow other human beings. So they do not become slaves of other human beings by following their rules and systems and culture and norms and laws, yeah. Rather, they should submit to Allah's system and laws and culture and policies and everything, yeah. So that has to be, even if we have a system, then we have to make sure it's emanating from the creed, which we have from Islamic creed. Otherwise, the human beings can have their own system and they can have their own creed.
Great, beautiful. No, absolutely great.
Yeah.
Sure.
So this is one thing. And then from that creed, obviously, when you emanate other system, then you realize Islam has a spiritual side, it has a political side, it has a social side, it has a judicial side, you know, so we can have our own systems. And then once the public is aware of all these, then there will be enough public opinion so that somebody amongst us emerges as a leader who can implement the system somewhere, so we can follow Allah completely.
Beautiful. I love the way you constitute your answer. I love your methodical approach, because I'm myself very technical, so like I really appreciate it's really good how you categorize and everything and bring that perspective. It's really amazing. So yeah, thank you very much. I want to take everybody like for introduction, so I'll probably have to pause you that, but I'd love to chat to you. I hope you wouldn't mind me pausing you that, if that's okay.
Yep.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, brother. Okay, so all right, on my list. Sorry, I don't want to offend anyone, right? Because I'm just going through a list, and sometimes it gets updated, and probably people who've been waiting for longer, they may not get opportunity straight away. So yeah, I really apologize about that. So I can see somebody called Sundus Javed. Welcome to discussion, Sundus. If you would like to introduce yourself and give us a little anecdote around this, what Islam is and how do you understand, and if you had the opportunity to go through the first chapter of the book, then that's amazing. And if not, then just give us what you understand from what Islam is, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can hear you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
So I just joined in and I'm not sure what the conversation is about. So I'm just gonna tag along a little while and then I'm gonna share my insights, if that's fine.
Sure. So I can give a little brief. So we're using a book by Maulana Maududi. It's the actual book is called Risala Diniyat. The English translation is called Towards Understanding Islam. It's a basic core book, and the first chapter is about the meaning of Islam. And here people are discussing like what they have gathered from the book itself or what they understand what Islam is. And so so far we have kind of covered what submission is, what surrender is, what obedience is, and like we're talking about like how the divine law is guiding us, and if we are pro that idea, then how we can improve ourselves and how we can benefit ourselves from it. And if we go away from it and we conceal the original message, then how we can basically destroy ourselves and go far away from the truth. So that's the sort of the concepts that we have discovered so far, and that's what we're covering. So if you want to sort of come back, that's absolutely, you can do that. But for now, at least you can just give us an introduction if you're a student or a professional, or you just give a little introduction. That'd be great.
My name is Sundus. I'm 27. I've just done my bachelor's a while ago, and I'm an architect. I'm working as an architect. And what else? What else do you want to know about me? I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, like, yeah, we don't want to know like too much any political affiliation or anything like that. We just want to know like what is your purpose behind, and what is your understanding, and what you're looking for, and yeah, and if you had any opportunity to understand the concepts of IMS and stuff like that, so that'd be great.
Okay, so I have joined IMS, what you would say 3 months ago. I had actually been living in Saudi since I was born, and I was raised up in there as well. In Saudi, there was not quite a lot of community system within the Desi people. So I always wanted to look for platforms or places where I could connect with different people, and try to learn Islam with them, try to connect with them intellectually, and to see whether how I would be able to use my skills for the purpose of Islam. So then I found out about IMS, and that was literally over a trip to Pakistan. Someone had just mentioned IMS very casually, and I thought to give it a try, and here we are.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, so you are in a very good position to compare a few different systems from different, yeah, if you had up in Saudi and live in UK. So obviously, yeah, that's really good. Okay, that's Jazakallah khair. We'll just move on to another member. So have I missed anyone? Marine, Iza, okay. Iza, welcome to the discussion. If you would like to
And then
introduce.
we will have Shahid after that.
Yeah, sure. Yes, that's great. Yeah, so we'll go to Shahid after that. And please raise your, anybody else who is like missed apart from Shahid and Iza, just please raise your hand so I know that I'll come to you. And once we have completed this this round, then obviously then we go to our first question from the list that's been shared. So yeah, Jazakallah khair. Yeah, if you take the mic, Iza, please.
Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so basically my name is Ida, and I'm a psychology student. And I have been connected to IMS since 1.5 years. And the reason
Yeah.
behind joining was that I was pretty much aligned with the purpose that IMS has. And when I used to look for a certain platform that could, like actually challenge the status quo of things and basically redefine the things. So I could not find any, and I could not basically bring myself to relate to the traditional teachings, of religion that was in
Right.
our
Yeah.
culture. I think that
Sure.
culture and religion was quite mixed, so I did not know where to draw the boundaries. So when I heard
Yeah,
about
you're not
IMS,
the only one. I think most of us has experienced that typical learning. Yeah, so absolutely, yeah, we relate to that. Sure.
Yes, so that was pretty much it. That was the reason behind joining it.
Sure, sure. And have you had the chance to look at the book and the first chapter, or not yet?
Not yet. This is my first meeting. I think I have not been part of it
That's
before.
okay.
So yeah, I will let you know my views soon.
Sure, sure. Yeah, that's absolutely great. Yeah, so great to have you here. So yeah, so we'll come back to you with the first, yeah, we'll come back to you with the questions, and if you would like to participate, that's great. I will go to Shahid and then come to you, Kiran. Is that okay? So brother Shahid.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just the name. I work in IT. I was listening to Sahil Bhai on YouTube, and I attended some of the awakening tours. So it basically helped me to change my perspective of Islam, just not being limited to Mazhab only. But as you all know, that Islam is a complete way of life. It's a complete system. And that's obviously the purpose of a Muslim, is to establish that system. So I'm really new to all this, so just learning, and sorry, I wasn't able to read the book, so I can't answer any of those questions yet.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, although the questions are from the book, but obviously they're very like generic, so anybody can at least share their understanding around them. So yes, it's not rocket science. It's basic questions. So that's absolutely fine. So that's okay. No problem. If you like to add anything around what you understand from what the meaning of Islam is, then that's fine. And if not, then that's still okay.
Sure. Thank
you. Okay, Jazakallah khair. So we had somebody raise their hand, wasn't it? Was that Kieran?
Yes, it will be.
Yeah, sure. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, of course, we said we'll come back to you. So yeah, if you would like to introduce or add anything, then certainly this is your chance.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, yes, I'm a medical doctor and I'm a mother of 3. And I think one of the uniting factors that we all hear is that we are quite disillusioned by the current state of the Ummah. And I think we somehow see IMS as that catalyst for change that we all need. So it's been wonderful, alhamdulillah, to be sharing a platform with the like-minded people. So it's great. I'm really impressed by all the great work that you guys are doing, and suggestions and thoughts that everybody has shared. I haven't had a chance to read the first chapter, but I've been listening to what everybody's been saying, and I've read the main points that somebody has kindly summarized. So I was just thinking that we if we metaphorically, if we were to look at it, we look at Islam and Kufr as quite black and white. But if we look at the state of the Muslim Ummah, or even like on an individual level, how much do we really surrender to Allah, and how much are we actually more obedient to our own habits or our nafs or our own desires? Yes, we do, alhamdulillah, we say we are Muslims, and we say Islam is a religion, but actually in reality, how much are we really obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And because if you're saying that Islam and Kufr is equivalent to black and white, then why are we gray? And how did we get there? And how can we change that and put ourselves into a more perfect fit into Islam rather than where we stand today? So that's just my viewpoint I wanted to share.
No, Jazakallah khair. I think that's very valid.
Well, that's a beautifully explained point, that if Islam and Kufr is like black and white, why are we gray? So one of the reasons why are we gray is because our understanding of Islam has become distorted. We think that rituals, traditions, and some kind of only the rituals are Islam. We have the basic ingredient that was supposed to give power to Muslims to direct their energies toward the right directions, toward benefiting the world from Islam. Exactly that same power is missing because our definitions of Islam has been distorted by I don't know, by the, like Sir Sahil says, by the defeated psychology ever since more than 100 years. So this is the whole purpose of this Muslim identity task, to get our definitions back to the original definitions of Islam, and get the definitions of what is a Muslim back to the original definition of what is a Muslim. So yeah, that's a beautiful point, that why are we gray?
Jazakallah khair. Yeah, that's beautiful. Fatima, yeah, you have your hand raised. Yeah, you can come in.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what Mehreen said. I think it's a great point that why are we gray? I like to disagree a little bit with Mehreen here, that I think we are gray because it is intrinsic in how we have been created. Our father Adam had made a mistake. It's intrinsic in humans to do that. But what makes us real, submitters to Allah is we are given the ability to also acknowledge that we do mistakes, and we need to humble ourselves to repent. So I think that's like, there's always this thing that you'll always be, you cannot be completely black and white. Like there's a progression in the whole process. What is more important is that you keep on, you know, reflecting upon yourself and keep correcting yourself, and be humble like our father Adam alayhi salam.
Sure. No, thank you for bringing that perspective. That's really good. That's really good. So like I think we are we're running against time, isn't it? So I think we have pretty much like 41 minutes into the session. So I think we should move on to a first question, like have a proper discussion around that first question. So if you allow me to read the first questions. So how does the concept of submission in Islam influence human behavior? So like I think we touched on the submission and we touched on surrender. So like, there is a fine difference between those two terminologies, right? So I want somebody to touch on those. And then we are focusing on the target, which is how's that affecting the human behavior? So who would like to go first? If you raise your hand, if you already have like something, then obviously I'll let you have your say first, and then I'll move on to others. So I'll give you time to sort of ponder over it, if that's okay. I think there are a couple of other people that I think they haven't reached out to you. So Hassan Khilji, if you would like to join us in discussion, then please do so, and don't feel like you're cut out, but I think you're quite part of the admin. So don't feel that you, because of you are who you are kind of thing, that you are not welcome in the discussions. If you would like to have a go, please do. If not, I would like people to like raise hands to whoever's ready to start talking about this.
Before we start talking about this, I think there is a confusion because on the part of white, black, and gray. So the premise behind white, black, and gray, the premise that I understood was, Iftikhar, is that all right to like clear that point? Because in the chat,
that's absolutely fine. I wanted to actually bring this into the end because, so we understand what identity as a Muslim is. So like if you take that as like a cupcake, the identity of the cupcake has to have that it is a cupcake. It is a certain shape and it has a certain taste and all of those. So the same thing, like the Muslim has to be like in exactly the same way that is a Muslim. And if it's like has a different kind of flavor, like then those could be like garnishing, those kind of things. But the actual identity should remain exactly the same. So I think that's something that we can bring into like any time. But if you want to clarify in a couple of minutes,
the very same point that
the
identity.
Go ahead.
The identity is Islam. For Muslim, the identity is entire submission. The point I was trying to make is, once we say that Islam is white and then why are we gray, the meaning behind that I meant was, in our own Muslim identity, it's all right that we can sin, we can to err is to human. It was very like, we all know that Adam alayhi salam made a mistake, and that was the plan. And all of the humans, even the best of humans and best of Muslims, they make mistake. So mistakes are fine. I'm not talking about mistakes that will make Islam gray. I'm talking about it's the identity part, because we think these areas are not covered in Islam. This is what I meant, that Islam, we have made Islam gray. There are lots of areas of Islam that we think are not Islam. So for example, we have excluded political aspect of Islam out for Islam. The masajid, they are performing absolutely segregated from the political side of it, from the global leadership, from the thought leadership. So this is why I was saying that the identity has been distorted, the definitions of Islam has been distorted. That's why there is a new version of Islam, and that new version of Islam, I reflected upon it as an analogy of it's being gray. So I'm not talking about that the Muslims won't be making mistakes, but at least their ideology, their definition, the definition of what the original meaning of Islam is will coincide with the definitions of Sahaba. I don't know, Fatima, if this makes sense.
Yeah, thank you, Marine. It makes sense. Yeah, in that context, of course, Islam is white, and the Quran definitions need to be in that spectrum. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. Okay, Rahil, back to you. So yeah, we were discussing about this question number 1.
Sorry, you said Rahil, so I was like,
oh,
okay.
Sorry, Iftikhar, sorry.
That's absolutely fine. So if your brother Rahil has anything to add, then yeah, certainly feel free. I can see Kiran Qureshi has hand raised. So yeah, I'll go to Kiran first. And if anybody else feel like they have something to add or answer the question, if they feel ready, please raise hands. So I'll come to you first. And then we will go in this order. So yeah, so we have Nashmia. So yeah, we'll go to Kiran first and then Nashmia and then the others.
Thank you. I just wanted to add on that, yes, I agree with Marion, but what I meant was that actually we do believe that, we submit, but we do not completely submit. So we are not actually in complete submission. And that's why that brings us to your question number 1, that because we do not completely submit, you see, that's why we are not being able to, influence the state of humanity as a Muslim Ummah should. And of course, Allah did not make us perfect. He already had angels, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already created, a perfect creation, which were the angels. And the unique bit about humans and about Adam alayhi salam was that we were given a choice. And then he was taught, if you err, then you just ask for forgiveness, and you start anew. So that, and Allah showed that he will not hold that against us. But that's not, that's different from surrendering or complete submission. So we do have a choice to err, but what we really need to do is to go back and redefine our understanding of Islam, and then look in ourselves to that. Do we really submit 100% to Allah, or are we actually choosing where we want to submit and where we are actually submitting to our own desires?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, can I bring a focus back to the question? So if you look at the question, it talks about the submission, but then it says how it influences the human behavior, like how we improve, how that like modifies or how that impacts the human behavior, that having that submission. So if you when you feel that you have totally submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right, then your behavior, how you define that compared to when you haven't fully submitted and you still have like gaps. Like I feel that I haven't fully submitted, right? So my behavior is guided and there's so many flaws. So I want to sort of touch on that. So if you guys, when you're answering something, yeah, if you can touch this, I think that will be the whole point. So I just want to like keep our focus on that area, if you allow me to do that. So yeah, we'll go to Sister Nashmia.
Thank you. Yeah, the thing is that, obviously as a Muslim, if we just submit ourselves totally, then, you always feel with, that piety, righteousness, and, you will be, living your life truthfully in just, and, you try your best to be like, completely the way you live your life, which God wants you to, not like, what your desires or what you want to be, because, that you think of the, like moral kind of excellence of the man that who just lives with their, mental attitude, or the other, they just like want to be like lives with the purity, with piety, and they want that, because they know that is, this is the blessing from Allah, that freedom which Allah gave, and you have to just live according to like if it's a free will, it doesn't mean that we just go against Allah. We have to submit ourselves to Allah according to what Allah wants us to, and that's how it's like that kind of person, I think, is a blessing onto the mankind, and he's thinking, and he knows that, yeah, I came from Allah and I will return back to Allah. And that's why even though it's just like, oh yeah, I can, there's a good and bad, but I have to choose good, because I know that, you know, in the end, this is gonna, you know, take me to, you know, like where Allah wants me to. And then, you know, we were just like, he will guard his, like his tongue, his, you know, he will never utter any foul word or any, you know, that's these kind of things. He always look for good things, you know, in other people as well and in himself. And he tried to become a better person. And that's why, you know, I think the more we get the knowledge, you know, of the, you know, get closer to Allah, the more, you know, we get to submit it, you know, more submissive towards Allah, because then you will know that, you know, what is the purpose of our life, why we are here, what is that, you know, why Allah created us. And that's why I think the more you get conscious, you know, so then you get more closer to Allah.
Sure. So you bring in this guidance aspect that you're guided in every single way. So yeah, Jazakallah khair. That's great answer. So we'll go to Amr Rashid. Yeah, I can see your hand raised. Is there anybody else? Yeah, anybody else is ready, then please raise your hand so I'll just come to you straight away.
To explain this point by giving an example. For example, in sales tax, or in UK they call it VAT, value-added tax. This is a form of financial oppression, because in Islam we are against all sorts of oppression, be it physical, psychological, financial, and so many others. So when we see a financial oppression, how do we get rid of this financial oppression? For example, a beggar who is begging on the street, obviously he can just is on the survival mode. And when he goes and buys some food and he's still paying the VAT, 20% to the government. So we know that this is a form of financial oppression. This is not right that he should be paying this tax. But we can't stop this unless the system is changed. Yeah. So in an Islamic system, we will not have such taxes, which is an oppression on the citizens. So we have to then change our behavior completely, our human behavior, where we are working towards an Islamic system, and then the policies which are going to be introduced by the government will be based on to the submission of Allah. So we are not creating any form of injustice and oppression.
Okay, yeah. So you talk about the systematic way of the having a methodology adopted, which is in line with the divine law, and the system is actually kind to everyone. It doesn't matter like what sort of capacity they are. So having that source, that's
why we just have to follow the system, whether we like it or like it. We have no choice but to pay it. Like,
yeah, I got your point. Yeah, no, that's great. Would you like to add anything?
No, that's it. Really, this is just one example. There can be so many other examples.
Okay, no, that's fine. Let's move on to Sister Kazima. I can see your hand, and after that, I have Rabia and Fatima Anjum.
Just one thing that I need to add, that we have discussed that Islam is an attributive title. So we need to understand that these are the attributes that are exactly according to the demand of the human being. So what actually the humans demand are these attributes. In our nature, we actually demand these attributes, and these attributes are the name of Islam. And here I remember an incident that I need to quote here. When Umar went to receive the keys of the Baitul Maqdis, the Christians there embraced that you are the people who deserve these keys. Means when we have those attributes, then everybody around us know that yes, these are the attributes these are the attributes that are my real demand. So once we are on those attributes, naturally we start to influence the people around us and of course the whole world. This is the point that I want to make here.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. Yeah, we got your point. While we're moving on to the next person, I want to also bring the second question. So we combine these two. The second question is why voluntary submission more important than the natural submission of other creation. So I just want to like clarify this point, right? So when we surrender, right, then obviously that is a state where people don't have a choice, right? So you basically surrender. But when you actually submit, that is the point when you actually have a free will and you are submitting to a higher being, right? So we bring this perspective to our conversation. So like this, so now the two questions, like how the influence our behavior and how the act of submission, yeah, so how is that important than the natural? So how is the human voluntary submission is different to the natural submission? If you're still not sure, then you can ask me that question. But yeah, I want to bring that into perspective. So I would move on to Rabia and then Fatima. And if anybody else is ready to answer, please raise your hand. Thank you.
I just wanted to give a just comparison, comparing with the Bible, like it says in the Bible, children of God. But why in Quran are we called Abdullah? Why slaves? What does a slave want to do other than please his master? So we have to follow objective morality, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained on us. It's not about subjective morality or our whims and desire, what we like, what we want to do. Because a lot of people nowadays do say that it's our life, so we ought to, lead our life the way we like it. We do have a free will. That's what we are going to be accountable for, unlike any other creation.
And that's a very good point. Like when you don't have the authority over something and you do it, then it has a different meaning compared to when you have authority and you still choose to do that and take the option, then obviously you have a higher reward. So yeah, absolutely great. Thank you for bringing this in, and I will move on to Fatima Anjum and then Mehreen.
Yeah. So for the first question, I think that it is innate in our in our nature to submit to something. Like it's like natural part of it. So we as a human being need to submit to something, if one or another. So now the human behavior is dictated by who we choose to submit to. So if one person is choose to submit to, for example, his own will, then it will be like subjective to what his ideas of morals and everything is, or what his desires are. If somebody, whereas Islamic submission is like you're submitting to a higher authority, which is of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then when you're basically your natural need of submission is now dictated by the objective laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that will govern all your human behaviors. So so that's why submission is there, like it will be there whether you accept it or not, whether you fail it or not. Whom you are submitting to will define your behavior, and that's why Islamic submission gives, like, if everybody submits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then everybody will be following an objective law, and that will be most aligned to the natural circles. So again, and this also comes to the second point, where why volunteer submission is more important than the natural submission. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created all the creation in a way that they are submitting to Allah ta'ala, and they are like doing tasbih of Allah ta'ala, and they have a purpose that they will serve, and they have no other option to do that. Human beings, on the other hand, have been given like an option to whom they submit, and then if they choose to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will be most aligned with the true purpose. And this, if not, then this will create havoc in the world. So that's why that submission is very more important than
Jazakallah khair for bringing this perspective that we only make our lives difficult by going away from the natural way of living. Absolutely great. We go to Mehreen, and then I'm gonna bring the third question after that. So please take it away, Mehreen.
Yeah, the way Maulana Abu Ala Maududi, the way he described these questions in the book is amazing. So the way he started is, if we look at the universe, everything submits to God. All the principles, all the laws, that everything, all the planets, galaxies, everything, whoever is working, they are working on the principles of Allah. So if we look on the planet Earth, even more than 95% of human body is working on the commandments of Allah. The very tongue that we use to deny Allah is actually a Muslim, because that tongue is working on the principles of Allah. The very brain from which we make reasoning to deny Allah is actually a Muslim himself, because the brain is working on the principles of Allah. So when our unconscious body, or maybe involuntary body, is submitted to Allah, is already a Muslim, it's only 5% of our free will or conscious life. It's only that 5% that we have to implement the rules of Allah by our own free will. And if we are not fulfilling the commandments of Allah in our in our um, voluntary life, then it's a chaos, because the other 95% of human body and the systems around us, all of them have submitted themselves on the commandments of Allah. So this part was really amazing, that my tongue and my brain is already a Muslim, and if from that 5% or whatever percentage of free will I will disobey Allah, it will create a chaos. It will just disturb the harmony between our involuntary body and the voluntary body. So that was very nicely put by the writer. Yeah, that's it from my side.
Okay, beautiful explanation, and bringing us to the core belief and the concepts shared. Yeah, so like I just wanted to add, like the books talks about the two main areas. The first one is about the divine law, and the divine law is, yeah, like what we just Sister Marine has explained. So yeah, so the whole universe, all different systems, the way they're designed, so perfect, the way they're running, everything is like functioning so beautifully. And then like, if you look at that, the whole universe, and then if you look at the whole human body, yeah, like everything is like functioning so beautifully. And then like whenever we go away from it, we see that how much torture we bring to our body, or we just try to disrupt to the system. So, and like so more close to that, the natural way of like that system is, yeah, that's how we benefit ourselves. And the far we go away, and we try to conceal and we try to disbelieve, that, yeah, so that's like we kind of torture and we make our lives harder. So yeah, absolutely great. So that puts us nicely in for the question number 3. So question number 3, if you can scroll this document down a bit, then the question 3 is, how does disbelief, which is kufr, disrupt both personal and societal harmony? So yeah, I want people to touch on that, like the way I just touched on it. So like how does that disturb the natural harmony when you actually are going to that disbelief? Who would like to go first? Okay, I can see Marine's hands.
That was the previous one. Sorry, I forgot to take it down.
I think
yeah,
it's too late now. I think it's still too late now. So I think we'll give you the opportunity first, and then we move on to others. Yeah.
If there's no one volunteering to do that, I can give some thoughts.
Okay, yeah, please, yeah, go ahead.
One example that is coming to my mind from the like kind of complementing Mehreen's answer as well, is like from a personal point of view. So for example, as she said, that most of our body, like the involuntary part, is in harmony with Allah's will. And when we choose to disobey, or like when you do disbelieve in something, then you don't feel the need to obey anything, right? You don't submit to that, you don't accept that. So an example to give is like, for example, we've been taught in Sunnah to follow a proper set of take care for our body, like eat less, or eat in balance. And if we don't do that, what we're doing is like we are affecting the function of our involuntary body as well. So we're creating a havoc to our health. And so we are disturbing the balance within ourselves. Similarly, on a societal level, when people disbelieve, they leave the objective morality zone and create their own sense of moralities, which to them might be like a benefit to them, but on a societal level, it is not not in a good way. Like it's not good to the overall society. And when once like that starts happening, then you can see problems like, you know, if somebody started accumulating wealth for himself he's doing good, but then he's creating issues in the society on a bigger level. So you see that, like, even though you feel like your small action is not have an immediate impact, but ultimately you'll start seeing how it is impacting the overall functionality or balance in within yourself or within the society you're living in.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. We'll move on to Sister Rubina.
Okay. Question 3: how does disbelief disrupt personal and society harmony? We can put it into a simple way of looking at it. For example, children, when they're growing up, they haven't opened the Quran, they haven't read the Quran. Even adults, some people who haven't been exposed to the Quran, they're using their free will. But how is it working? You know, are they living their lives according to the laws and guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? In absence of that, it's they don't even know that they're covering the truth. They don't even know that they're committing kufr. But in the absence of how Allah has asked us to live our lives, it's going to go down towards disharmony and disruption in the society. Allah's in His wisdom, He's given us His wise guidance. But now, free will, do we follow that? Do we open that? Do we try and ponder on that? Do we follow that? You know, it's one way or the other. You've got one group of people, and unfortunately at the moment, they're in the majority, where they're away from what Allah has asked us to do, and just look at what's happening in the world. You know, everything is going towards, it's on the brink. Today's news was things are on the brink. So the wars, you know, and genocide and everything, you can see it in front of our eyes. And that is because people have decided to cover the truth. That's my perspective of it.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Jazakallah khair. I think this prepares us for the next question, which is our last question for the night. This is more like systematic sort of approach. So it talks about, what does understanding Islam as a complete way of life mean for modern Muslims? So like today's age, like how we see like what is actually part of Islam, what is not part of Islam, what is according to Islam, what is not, and what we actually care about as like modern Muslim, how we understand things. So just kind of like focus on that area. So who would like to have a go first?
I can share my thoughts if nobody else is sharing.
Yeah, I think it's really late and people are tired.
Yeah,
So
we'll just wind up now.
sure.
So imagine the way I understand this whole concept is, imagine there are 100 people. The world consists of 100 people. Those 100 people cannot do everything by themselves. They need interactions with other human beings. So for example, if my family comprises of 4 members, among those 100 people, we 4 members, let's say we are growing wheat, we need to collaborate with other people for other things, for transportation, for for teaching, for schooling, and etc. So we need to collaborate with other people. So what are the policies, what are the rulings that which will help us in those interaction in a way that those 100 people are living in peace? So if I am the policymaker, let's say my family or the head of my family is the most wise among those 100 people, and those 100 people ask my husband to make the laws for all of us so that all of us can live in harmony. No human being has the capacity to make certain kind of laws or principles that can benefit all of the 100 people. If my husband is the policymaker of for the whole community at that time, somehow unconsciously there will be favoritism in those laws, because no human being has the capacity to make principles or laws that will benefit each and every member of the community. So here we need divine principles and divine laws. So this is what Islam is. These are the divine laws that will bring peace in the lives of all of the living humans on that planet. And if we do not have divine laws, whatever lawmaker produces laws, that they will bring favoritism on one part of the world and chaos to the other. And that's what we are saying. We are saying that these developed countries, they are so good with their own people. These are the welfare society. We live in UK and we know how much welfare society this is, how much the government take care of poor, take care of widows, free schooling, free medical. But then on the other side, look at what's happening in the world, the genocide and everything. So we have seen and experienced that human man-made law cannot bring peace. It's only Allah, divine law, that can bring peace. So this is, as a modern day Muslim, this is the duty of every Muslim to show the world the beauty and the benefit each and every member of the society is going to get if divine laws are translated into our practical lives. So uh, from my understanding, this is what peace is. If we will implement the rules of Allah on all of the human beings of the world, then it will bring peace in all of the dealings that human beings are having with each other. And as a modern day Muslim, it is incumbent on us to demonstrate how beneficial the rules of Allah are. And so that's it from my side. If anyone else want to give a conclusive remarks, or Iftikhar, if you want to say something, and then it's time to wind up. We will try to keep our sessions shorter, like maximum 70 minutes, so that everybody can join and they know that it's about to end in 70 minutes.
Yes, sure. Yeah, Jazakallah khair for those beautiful words. I would give opportunity to Uzma Sheikh, because I think she hasn't spoken much, and then we'll go to Rubina. So like we keep it short because we want to wind up this session. So yeah, we go to Uzma first.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum. Yeah,
Walaikum
Mahreen's last question. I was talking about listening to Mahreen. She's absolutely right. Man-made laws in whole universe. Whoever man making a law is not working on this earth. Anywhere in this universe, nothing is, so why our Muslim leaders are not understanding that? Our upcoming generation after us, our children, when they are coming, they're gonna ask us if these laws are not wasn't working, so why you guys not standing up? Why you don't talk about it? When I say to my son, this is happening and this is happening, so he said, why people are not following the laws of Allah? Subhanallah, why this is so hard for them to even for us, why this is so hard to accept the laws of Allah and implement the laws of Allah? This is even in Muslim countries. We are living in UK. It's not a Muslim country, but we saw laws, and people are following laws, every kind of, and it's beautiful. But in our Islamic country, when we go to Pakistan, our children saw so many things which are not related to Islam at all, in their politics, in their culture, in their anywhere. No one is following Islam.
Yeah, sure.
So
Jazakallah khair.
that's it.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair
So
for
it's
bringing your
difficult.
perspective.
So yeah, then you give me the answer. Actually, I'm asking you. We are focusing to correct the system, or we should focus on Islam first? Where should we focus? What shall we tell our children? My age is 40 plus, but my son is 18. He have a potential to do so much. So what shall I tell him? You need to correct the system first, and you need to learn Islam. What I'm just thinking about it.
I think nobody would be able to correct the system unless he himself know the
No, but
system and
our
know the system
children
of
have
Islam.
potential, Marine. They can. We
No, I'm
have to
saying that
install
one
that.
has to learn it first to implement it.
But
So
they have they have a potential.
Yeah, sorry. No, it's a beautiful question, but it needs a detailed answer, and I think
Yeah.
we don't have the time and capacity right now.
Yeah, just
So we'll come back to this, Uzma, sister, if that's okay.
All right, thank you.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we totally understand.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
Sorry.
sure. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Sorry for the interruption. There's just one quick point here. Sister asked the question. So basically, the answer is in the Sirah. Rasulullah did give us a whole solution how to do it. How to decide what to do when. So it's a 3-step approach. Individual level first. So focus on yourself, your family, your kids. Teach them the Islam, build a strong foundation. Do all the things that Islam asks you to do at individual level. You do that, then you go to the next level, which is then you do tabligh, or do stuff for the community again on the rules of Islam. And obviously today's time hadith, there's a whole, like, everything is there, all the information is there, how to do it. And then comes the third level, which is then once you have built that community, only then you will be able to change the system. So you can't directly go to step 3. How I know it's a very, like, it can be very deep discussion, and I've just basically give you a very simple version of it. But in future, inshallah, we can go into depth, and if you want to discover more, inshallah, we'll have more discussions.
Yeah, Jazakallah khair, Brother Rahil. Yeah, and that's a beautiful answer. But yeah, like the question actually deserves a detailed discussion on it. So okay, yeah, let's quickly go to Rubina and Kiran, and then we'll go back to and wind this up. So we have 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 more minutes for this.
Okay, just take the 4th pillar of zakat, right? So today, in our own country, there's no system to collect and distribute zakat, but the Western have taken that in a form of taxes, and they don't leave it voluntarily. They take it, compulsory. You pay tax, and then they're distributing it. They were spending it on your health, education, policing, everything, and we praise that. Look how well they're doing in the West, but it's our own system, and we have failed to implement or establish just that one zakat system. If that we were able to manage in our own countries, it would eradicate a lot of societal problems. So it's very important for us to take back what is our responsibility.
Jazakallah khair. Yeah, like that's a really beautiful point, that implementing the real zakat system, the real taxation that Islam has prescribed for us. Yeah, that is absolutely is the way forward. But we have seen that, like, even like any taxation system, when it's implemented and benefiting the masses, then still people praise it and benefit from it. So yeah, that's absolutely great. So Kiran, we'll go to you for a couple of minutes, and then we close our session.
Yeah. Thank you. I just wanted to say that I think the problem with the modern Muslims, or rather everybody in the modern society, is that we think that Islam is not compatible with modern life. But if we were to really, like, voluntarily submit completely to Islam, then we would realize that
the quality of our actions would be far-reaching. And as Marina and Sister Rubina said, that if we could implement a system, for example, say for zakat, then even those who are not in the fold of Islam will benefit from it. But I think it's just for first us to realize that actually it is compatible. Islam is for all times, and then to fully submit to it, and then only we will be able to see the change.
Exactly.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful conclusion remark. So yeah, that's beautiful. So over to you, Marine, before we close the session.
Yeah, just to let you know the methodology we are using. So all of you might have seen the document, the questionnaire document, where there are a set of questions that we are working to find the answers towards. So our first question was, what is the original definition of Islam? So if there is anyone, we are reading this book to understand what is Islam and what is the original meaning of Islam, to clarify our definitions. So in the next week we will study our second chapter and discuss it. So the Thursday session for Muslim identity discussion is for the people who can join discussions during daytime, and the content will be pretty much similar in the Thursday session. So if you're joining either Tuesday or Thursday session, that's absolutely fine. You are not missing out on anything. But the thing that I want to mention is, once our members, they feel confidence that, okay, now my understanding of original definition of Islam, my understanding of Islam as a deen, Islam as a system, if my definitions and understanding is clear, I'm ready to give a presentation to the whole community. So if any one of you feel like they are ready to present, do contact us. We will take your presentation, take its recording, proofread it, make it better, because we have a team who are very much qualified to make presentations better and proofread them. So once the presentation is ready, we will present. We will announce your presentation on the community so that everybody can benefit, and those presentations will be recorded for, inshallah, YouTube channel. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you very much. It was a very, very good, insightful discussion. And thank you, Iftikhar. Lovely moderation.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you, everyone. You may leave now. And also, before you leave, we have a way of like recording interest and personal development for everybody who joins the organization. So there are reflected logs, which I shared in like various groups. So yeah, please complete those to embark on this journey and track your own progress.
Iftikhar, do let everybody know that the book is in the description, and we will add the audio version of the same book in the description as well. Because Sister Rabia is saying that I'm unable to find the book, so it is in the group description. Okay, Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.